introduce a feature of Google Search that is helpful throughout your daily life, and that we hope that you use every day in the morning to check your information, and that's called Google Now. It's a pretty new service. It's only about a year old, so compared to Google Search, which has been around for 15 years, it's very, very young, and we're still developing it. But we'd like to give you a preview of some of the new features and talk about how Google Now can help your daily life. So today we have two demos. The first one is for someone who lives here in Taipei, imagining someone who's going about their daily life here. And the second one is for people like us who are visiting and traveling. So Google Search was designed to give you answers to the questions that you have. But we noticed lately that people have been asking the same question of Google Search all the time. And it depends on the context and the person, but sometimes you can kind of predict what people are going to ask. And if we know what people are going to ask, then why not give the results of the search before you even have to ask? That's what Google Now is about. Google Now is about giving the right information at the right time before you have to ask for it. It's a new form of Google Search, and we consider it to be an evolution of Google Search. So we'd like to give you a tour of some of the features. First of all, how to activate Google Now. And if you have your own device, feel free to follow along and check out the cards on your own device. So on Android 4.1 and above, you can swipe up from the bottom of the screen. It's very convenient. Any screen you can just swipe on up, and you'll see some Google Now cards. Another way to activate it is via the quick search box here. Just touch that. Google Now card. If you have an iPhone or iPad or other iOS device, you're going to need to install the Google Search app. It's free from the App Store. Android devices also have a Google Search app on them, so you just touch the Google Search icon and Google Search. So that's how you activate Google Now. So the account that we're going to demo today is set up for somebody who lives here in Taipei and works at Taipei 101, for example, or Taipei School. So let's say they wake up in the morning here, and what's the first piece of information you want to know when you wake up in the morning? What's the weather like? Right? Okay, so Google Now will show you the weather before you have to ask for it. Because it's fairly common for people to wake up in the morning and search for the weather. So Google Now will show you. Okay, so you put on your clothes and you get ready to go to work. The next thing you want to know is how to get, or what's the commute condition on the way to work. So if you drive, Google Now will tell you the traffic condition, and it will tell you how many minutes it takes to go to work. If you take transit, depending on the country, we have transit information, or at least we have the transfer information, so we tell you how many minutes it takes to work. For example, if you use a bus, it doesn't come as frequently, but there's less walking. If you use a train, it comes more frequently. That type of information is automatically available in Google Now without having to do anything. Okay, so you go to work, and you're doing your work at your desk, feeling a little bit bored. Let's check my stock prices. That's another fairly common thing for people to do throughout their day, is check stocks. So if you use Google Now to search your stock prices, if you use Google Search to check your stock prices, Google Now will automatically show you the prices of your stocks throughout the day. We have a stock card here. Okay, so next you might have a meeting. If you use calendar and you put the location in the calendar, Google Now will automatically calculate how much time it takes to get from your location to the meeting location and give you a notification when it's time to leave. So for example here, it takes 23 minutes to get to my meeting with Mr. Lee at 11 o'clock, and when the time comes, I'll get a notification telling me guys. Again, this works for public transit, using trains and buses, or for driving, and you can set which mode you use. If you're driving, it'll take into account the current traffic conditions as well. Oh, and you can click this to get more information in Maps, but I think our connection is really bad. Try again. There's so many people on the network right now, it's hard to get So meanwhile, you might be seeing different cards on your own device. What kind of cards do you see? Directions? Isn't that interesting? So a local person who lives here in this city would not be so interested in tourist attractions, but those of us who are visiting are interested. So we have another demo, which is more like people like us who are visiting the city. For example, this account is set up for someone who lives in Japan. Okay, so let's activate Google Now. And you're probably seeing a card similar to this. Again, local people wouldn't be so interested in tourist attractions, but as a tourist, I certainly am. So these are some tourist attractions. Other features that are available for travelers are, for example, photo spots. So if you're exploring the city, you can go check out some interesting looking places. Another feature that's available is Translate. So let's give that a try. Where we are right now has a different language than my home language, which is set to English in this example. So let's say, for example, take me to Taipei 101. Take me to Taipei 101. And this works for voice search or for entered text. And so, for example, what does that taxi ride cost, say, 150 Taiwan dollars? How much is that in my home currency? There's a handy currency calculator. And again, I didn't have to do anything to set up these cards. I just came to Taiwan and opened up Google Now, and it automatically showed me the cards because it knew I was traveling. It also shows me the weather back home. And there's one more feature I want to point out to you, which is we are going to take a flight to get home. And on the day of your flight, what are some common information needs that you have on the day of your flight? Flight schedule, is it on time or not? Any other common information? Traffic to the airport? Yeah. Also the gate and terminal information. All of that information is available in the Google Now card automatically. So this is a fake reservation just for demo purpose, but normally it would show you the navigation to the airport when it's getting time to leave, as well as on-time status and things like that.
How is that input? Is it both on the calendar?
Good question. There's a button here called View Email. And this is basically just another search. So on the day of your flight, it's common for people to search their Gmail and look for that confirmation email message. Right? You want that confirmation number so you can check in. So this is just automatically showing you on the day of your flight a view of your email.